month, our theme is invoice validation. We want to explain what this is and why it's important. To help with this, I've asked our senior bureau analyst, Sean, to join me so we can chat about all things validation. Thank you for joining me, Sean.
Okay.
How long have you worked at Utilities?
Just over 5 years now.
So what sort of duties did you start out doing?
So when I first started validation, I started by downloading invoices and inputting these into our system. This allowed me to sort of learn all sort of the information that's on the invoices, what we're looking at, what we do in validation, anything anomalies that pop up and why they pop up. It just gave me that sort of the background knowledge of what everything was on an invoice.
Could you please take me through the invoice validation process?
Yeah, so what we do is we gain access to all of our customers' invoices and it's inputted into our system, which then validates them. Essentially, it's just checking every invoice, making sure everything's correct on there. So it checks sort of the consumption on there, whether it's higher or lower, whether we've used consecutive estimates. If we have, then we can contact the customer to gain meter reads to send off to the supplier. We go through their contract rates, make sure they all match. VAT, if it's for 20%, it's flagged automatically, and then we can look into it to see if the customer should be paying 20% or whether they're entitled to the 5% reduced rate, whether meter reads are following. So absolutely everything on the invoice is looked through, checked through, and any anomalies are then highlighted, and then we would then contact the supplier on the customer's behalf.
So what are some of the common trends or issues that you see when you're validating bills?
So the most common trends are your consecutive estimates or the consumption. They seem to get raised quite a lot. So we would have to then contact the customer to request meter readings, which we would then send off to the supplier. This would help then their billing, because usually if they're overestimated or underestimated, they're either charged higher or lower. And then obviously if they're lower later on down the line, it would be a catch-up bill. Same with the consumption. If the consumption is too high, then the customer could be overpaying. These two are the most high trends that we seem to see within validation.
So a lot of the usage information and data must be on file through invoice validation and for validating customers for quite a while. Do you tend to do quite a few reports?
Yeah, like you say, because all the information is stored within the system, we can pull reports for customers. The main reports that customers would usually ask for are consumption and cost report. We find these are quite common and the most helpful to our customers. So we can pull sort of the range, sort of a 12-month period of all their properties, or essentially just one property, and then the customer can see all the cost and consumption per month for per property and can sort of tally it and look at it through sort of a 12-month or longer month period if they wish.
So what are some of the barriers that we can help our customers to overcome?
The biggest barriers is dealing with the suppliers. It can be a lengthy process and the customers don't always have the time to sit sort of trading through sort of all their invoices and sitting on the phone for hours. Also sort of being able to explain to them what an invoice is and all the information on there. Each invoice from each supplier is completely different, and a lot of them have loads of information on there, and it can be quite overwhelming and not be able to see what you need. We can also sort of update them on their portal and how to sort of access portal and access invoices and be able to deal with anything like that. Essentially, we can do anything that they're unsure of. So because they don't have the knowledge, they sort of get a bit scared and don't understand some of it. They can come to us and we have the knowledge to be able to give them sort of templates, information, or deal with the supplier on their behalf and get the information they require.
How much have you saved through invoice validation for our customers?
Well, to date, we've just hit just over the £7 million mark. So £7 million we've saved our customers in our validation service.
So when you do manage to recover money, what is actually the process that you carry out?
So once we've recovered their money, we would contact our customer, we would inform them of how much money that we've saved them, and we would then sort of liaise with the customer and the supplier on whether this is offset against future invoices or if it's sort of a substantial amount. Sometimes the customer would prefer that to go straight back into their bank account. So then we would liaise with the supplier and get that money returned to their bank account.
Wow, so it must be an amazing feeling when you get to contact customers about refunds.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I mean, that's what our job is all about, helping people. So to be able to go back to these customers and let them know that we've saved them sort of so much money due to sort of errors and issues on their invoicing is a great feeling. Some of these organisations are really small charities, and to know that they can have that money returned to their account, they're really grateful. And it's what we're here as an organisation. It's the best feeling in the world to know that we've helped them.